Raider Nation, if you're looking for free Raiders versus Ravens Monday Night Football tickets, then listen the hell up. All you got to do is go to Tailgate Social in Las Vegas. You can see the address below. I want you to walk in that door and say, Mitchell Renz from the Raiders Report sent me. You're going to be given a ticket, and that ticket is basically your golden ticket, a chance to win free Raiders versus Ravens Monday Night tickets. This offer is available from now until the start of the NFL season. So that's Thursday when the Cowboys go up against the Buccaneers at the end of that Thursday game. That's when it ends. So make sure you do it right now. I want you guys to be there.
No matter the location, from OAKLA to LV, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. And before we reveal the 16 players signed to the Las Vegas Raiders practice squad, man, I got to give some love to today's sponsor, Magic Spoon. Head on over to magicspoon.com/Raiders, and I'm going to say it again because I bet somebody was sleeping on that intro. magicspoon.com/Raiders. $5 off your very first order. That link's going to be available for y'all in the comments and in the description. The first player coming up here, and the way that the order of players listed is the order that I personally received them. So that's just me being 100% transparent with y'all. The first guy that I saw ended up getting signed to this practice squad, Kendal Vickers. He actually made the 53-man roster last season for the Raiders. He's 6'3". He's a good defensive tackle. He's going to get some time as well. He did have an opportunity to play a little bit, but he is going to be probably better off as a practice squad. This just kind of goes to say, hey, this Raiders defense did get better this offseason. Next player coming up here is Niles Scott. He hasn't played in an NFL game since 2018. He had an okay offseason, okay preseason as well. I remember when a lot of people started freaking out when the first Raiders depth chart got thrown out there and he was listed as like a top one of like the top guys. I was like, don't worry, be patient. He's not going to make the 53. Still offers you, though, a little bit of versatility. Next player coming up here is somebody that I'm really, really excited that the Raiders were able to get back. The UDFA out of Pittsburgh. So DJ Turner, he got a lot of work as a punt returner, and he got a lot of work as a kick returner. That's obviously very important for the Raiders, who still have Jalen Richard, who's battling an injury. He also showed pretty good glimpses of being a solid receiver in that first game, 7 catches, 41 yards up against the Seahawks. Can work in the slot a little bit as well, but I am very, very excited to see that DJ Turner make it. If I'm being 100% honest with y'all, when I saw that John Brown asked to be released, and when I saw that Dillon Stoner didn't make the 53, my mind was like, oh man, does that mean DJ Turner ended up making it? This is going to be a fun player and could actually get a call up, especially if Richard ends up missing a few more games there with that foot injury. Next guy coming up is Jimmy Morrisey. So Morrisey was drafted in the 7th round in the 2021 NFL Draft. He was the last pick by the Las Vegas Raiders out of Pittsburgh. They like his versatility. The reason why they decided to keep Nick Martin over Morrisey is more to do with that they have more faith in Martin being able to be a reliable veteran backup to Andre James. Now, I did like what I saw out of Jimmy in that final preseason game up against the 49ers at this point. It seems like so long ago. But Morrisey is still going to be able to add a little bit of depth and maybe can get some of his footing, but a very, very smart football player. If you consider yourself a smart human being, then when I offer you guys this awesome deal, you should go ahead and take it. Go to magicspoon.com/Raiders where you can get $5 off your very first order of some healthy cereal. Tell me where you can find 13 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, and 0 grams of sugar. I mean, guys, we're talking about cereal that has less than 170 calories per bowl. There are some flavors out there that have 120. Now, one of my favorites, and I was talking to my dad before today's show, I sent him some Magic Spoon. I was like, Dad, which is your favorite? He loves chocolate. I think he was just trying to give me like, hey, I'm in love with the cocoa. He doesn't even know what that song is, but Dad, you know I'm all about it. So my favorite flavors out of the original 4 that I tried, which is like peanut butter, cocoa, frosted, I am a big fan of the frosted. If anybody out there has ever had something like cake battered flavored, I think it's actually very comparable to that. The other flavor that I absolutely just crush all the time here at work is the fruity, very, very fruity flavor. And imagine being able to eat Fruit Loops or Fruity Pebbles, and after you get done, you don't feel like such a schmuck after you get done eating it. That's why this is really, really good. Also, the peanut butter does have a little bit extra protein if you're looking for that extra boost. I have a bowl of this every day before I go to the gym. Even late at night, I actually get some protein. I shake it up in a shaker, pour pour it in the cereal to just get a little bit of extra gains. But at the end of the day, the regular season's right around the corner. If you guys plan on taking trips out to Las Vegas, buy a box of this. It's a great little snack while you're sitting there waiting to go into a game, or hell, maybe while you're even at tailgate. It's magicspoon.com/Raiders. I'll tell you what, this guy, he probably has the munchies here and there. It's Dillon Stoner. He ends up making the Raiders practice squad. Everyone type 420 down in the comments. 6 foot, 194 pounder. When I first saw reports out there that Stoner had a chance to make the roster, I would have said out of all the wide receivers that didn't make it, he had the best opportunity. The coaching staff is like what he brings to the table. He's not the fastest player. He's not the best route runner, but he does a lot of little things very, very well, which does get a lot of the coaches pretty excited. He's going to be this year's version of, I'll say, like a Keelan Doss, where he made a lot of people fall in love with him in the offseason. He's going to have some chances in the regular season if other players do go down with injuries, but Dillon Stoner is definitely a player to keep in mind. The next name coming up here on our Raiders practice squad list, it's Madre Harper. So as soon as I saw this news come out, I ended up texting Madre. I was like, dude, congratulations, excited that you're here. He told me that he knew since yesterday. I was like, since yesterday, why didn't you tell me? But he also said that he had plenty of offers on the table from other NFL teams, and he chose to be a Raider. That's the kind of stuff that I like to see. For those of you that don't know who Madre Harper is, he played on the New York Giants a little bit last year. He was a UDFA signing by Las Vegas in 2020. Obviously, it's a very difficult situation, if you will, with a lot of these other players. But he ended up playing college football at Oklahoma State. Left there, went to Southern Illinois, and he's got a very athletic player, very athletic, 6'1", 200 pounds. He runs like a 4.4 40. He's going to be able to offer a lot of stuff. Really good kid, good head on his shoulders. I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do in the future, but Madre Harper is a player who's going to fit this Gus Bradley system very, very well. The next Raiders practice squad player that I have on my list here is Matt Bushman, and if you guys are keeping track with me, I've already gone through, this is number 7. We still got 9 more to go. 6'4", 245 pounds. The reason why I anticipated them to bring him back, they gave him an $125,000 signing bonus at first, 8th highest among all UDFAs. He's battled some injuries. He's also one of those older players, but the Raiders do like what he brings to the table in terms of being able to catch the football. Next guy, Jeremiah Poutasi. He hasn't played in the NFL game since 2016, but he's been bouncing around plenty of practice squads in his NFL career. 26 years old, 6'5", 335 pounder out of Utah. One of the biggest things the Raiders want are some of these linemen that can actually play multiple different positions. He's probably best suited as a guard, but he can also play he's best suited as a tackle. He can also play a little bit of guard. The Raiders are going to want some of these players to have just a little bit more versatility. Now, if you haven't already, what I want you guys to do is join the family, subscribe to the Raiders Report. I made a video yesterday for the 53-man roster cuts. If you haven't seen it yet, please go check it out. I do want to give an update on that because when I started the show yesterday, I was like, hey, Denzel Perryman, it's not official. It is officially official that Denzel Perryman is a member of the Las Vegas Raiders, which actually puts them at a 53-man count. We'll keep you updated if any more information comes out on guys like Javen White, Nicholas Morrow. But in terms of some players that missed practice today, or at least weren't there, Richie Incognito, Cleveland Furl, Nicholas Morrow, Javen White, Keyshawn Nixon, and Jalen Richard. We will keep you updated literally the entire season. Plus, we're going to be doing a lot of live videos, so join the family, hit that subscribe button. Next guy is somebody that I know is going to make a lot of people happy, and he's the 9th practice squad player. It's Trey Ragas, the UDFA out of Louisiana. He was really good this offseason, I would say, for Las Vegas, giving you that toughness. And some people, I compare him to a better version of Chris Warren because he's not the most athletic running back, but he runs with a lot of physicality, a lot of toughness. I liked what I saw from a pass blocking standpoint from him. He's not going to be somebody who's going to be on the field ever, realistically, unless the Raiders need an extra back. Maybe Josh Jacobs goes down. Maybe Kenyon Drake goes down. But to have somebody as talented as Ragas on your practice squad, it gets me pretty excited. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go to Gerri Green, 6'4", 250-pounder, 6th-round pick in 2029 draft. He was a player that really started to work his way up that Raiders depth chart. I'd say like in the early of August. Then just some other players just started to surpass him. He's still a good pass rusher. The Raiders like the energy he brings in practice. That's why he ended up making the practice squad. Next guy coming up here is Robert Jackson. So Jackson, he has spent the past 2 seasons with the Cleveland Browns, and he was actually at practice today. In fact, I believe 12 out of the 16 practice squad players were actually at Raiders practice today. Jackson was one of them. 6'2", 207-pound, age 27 years old, played college football at UNLV, so he's got some connections there with Las Vegas. I'm excited to see what he can do, but as you're seeing, a lot of these practice squad cornerbacks, Gus Bradley guys, in terms of size, 6'2", Madre was 6'1", over 200 pounds. Devery Hamilton, probably the smartest dude in the NFL, played 11 games last season in 2020 at Duke. He also has graduated from Stanford. This is one of those where anytime Hamilton comes up, I pull the whole, oh, hey, have you ever heard that Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard? Hey, have you ever heard that Devery Hamilton graduated from Stanford and Duke? 6'6", he might actually be 6'7". Really tall player. This was actually somebody that was released halfway through the offseason. The Raiders brought him back in early August. Now he ends up making the practice squad. Now, if you guys made it this far in the video and you want to get to know me a little bit better, hit me up on Instagram, at MitchellRenz365. We're going to be breaking down, doing a lot more IG Lives as well. Plus, if anybody wants to hang out with me when I'm in Vegas, and it sounds like I'm going to be in Vegas every single weekend. So if anybody wants to hit me up, grab a beer, talk a little Raiders football, I'm going to be doing a lot of events, and I would love to get you there. If it wasn't for producer Jeremy, we wouldn't be able to do this show. So what I want you guys to do is message Jeremy on Twitter, and we call him Chugs because the very first time he wasn't even working at Chat Sports yet. The Raiders, we went live. I forget what the hell happened. I think Solomon Thomas signed, and I was like, Jeremy, come chug this beer. He starts chugging it. He's got the nickname Chug. So what I want you to do is message Jeremy on Twitter at JIBeeling and just put Chugs. Next guy coming up here is Jordan Brown, and Jordan Brown also was at the Raiders practice today. 6 foot, 197 pounder, only 25 years old. He was a 7th round pick in the 2019 draft. He's been bouncing around on the Bengals, the Washington football team as well. But this is another dude who has some upside, pretty athletic player as well. So you're seeing big cornerbacks that have high upside with some athleticism. So that right there, I believe, is what, if I'm keeping track, 13 players, so we still got 3 more to go. B.J. Emmons, 6 foot, 220 pound running back out of Florida Atlantic. Wasn't quite as good as what I thought Trey Ragas was in the preseason. Now, Emmons might have actually ran the ball a little bit better in terms of yards per carry, and he also, I think, was a little bit better between the tackles, but Ragas was the better pass catcher this offseason and this preseason, so B.J. Emmons, I'm happy for him. Let's go to Lester Cotton, 6 foot, 335 pound offensive lineman out of Alabama, was a UDFA last year. The Raiders, again, they like his versatility. He's somebody that can play guard. He's somebody that can play tackle. I was excited to see that they got back Lester Cotton. And the last Raiders practice squad player is Max Richardson. The UDFA from Boston College. He played quite a bit in that final preseason game. He's the guy who's wearing number 54. At times, he looks a little bit slow. He seems like one of those old-fashioned linebackers that you would see kind of in the olden days. But I am excited to see that he's on this practice squad. He does work his freaking tail off. Now, these 2 players didn't make the Raiders practice squad, but they were pretty notable cuts on that 53-man. I just want to be able to keep you guys updated here. Isaiah Johnson, he ends up signing with the Houston Texans, so maybe you can go say, hey, what's up to Garyon Conley. And then Karl Joseph, he is also on his way to Pittsburgh. Both of those guys are going to be on the respected practice squad. I haven't got any updates yet on John Brown or some of these other Raiders players. When I do, you guys know what to do. Go ahead, hit that big red button that says subscribe. So the Raiders practice squad coming at you here on the Raiders Report. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports. We're going to give you the 16 players here, and we're going to go through and tell you which ones are my favorites. The first list of 4 names, and then the way that this is going to pop up on screen here, it's as simple as this. It's the way that I got all the information in. Kendal Vickers, he returns to the Las Vegas Raiders after making the 53-man roster last year. Niles Scott, he was a pretty fun guy during the offseason. DJ Turner, the UDFA out of Pittsburgh. He had a lot of punt return, a lot of kick return duties during the preseason. Jimmy Morrisey, he was drafted in the 7th round of the 2021 NFL Draft out of Pittsburgh. Those are the first 4 players on the Raiders practice squad. The next 4, I think, is what's really going to draw a lot of attention. Dillon Stoner out of Oklahoma State, a fun player, probably had the best chance of making the 53-man out of all the practice squad players you're about to see. Madre Harper, good friend of mine, he messaged me and said, hey, I wanted to be a Raider. That's why I ended up choosing this team. He was a UDFA signing last season, started his college football career actually at Oklahoma State, then went to Southern Illinois. Really excited to be able to get Harper back. Matt Bushman, the UDFA out of BYU, and then Jeremiah Poutasi. Those are 8 out of the first 16 Raiders practice squad players. Then you're going to go to the running back, Trey Ragas. A lot of people are excited about him. He looked really good during the preseason, 28 carries, over 100 yards, had 2 rushing touchdowns, also showed some versatility as well, being able to block. Gerri Green, they welcomed him back. Robert Jackson, he spent the last 2 years on the Cleveland Browns roster. And then Devery Hamilton, he went to Duke last year, also graduated from Stanford. Really, really good overall offensive tackle. Then you got Jordan Brown, B.J. Emmons, Lester Cotton, and then Max Richardson. Here are some pretty solid guys. Jordan Brown, he's spent the Washington football team. He's also been playing with the Bengals. B.J. Emmons, Lester Cotton, Max Richardson. Really excited to see some of these players and how they ultimately pan out with the Las Vegas Raiders. So, who's the best player on the Raiders practice squad? That's how I'm going to end this video. And I want every single person that comes across this to go ahead and give this video a like. And let me know down in the comments who's the best player on the Raiders practice squad. Off the top of my head, my top 3 favorite players, Trey Ragas, Dillon Stoner, and I'm going to go 4, DJ Turner, and Madre Harper.